the fight at the North Bridge. This morning, between 1 and 2 o'clock, we were alarmed by the ringing of the bell, and upon examination found that the troops to the number of 800 had stole their march from Boston in boats and barges from the bottom of the Common over to a point in Cambridge near to Inman's Farm, and were at Lexington Meeting House half an hour before sunrise, where they had fired upon a body of our men, as we afterward heard, and killed several. This intelligence was brought to us at first by Samuel Prescott, who narrowly escaped the guard that were sent here before on horses to prevent all posts and messengers from giving us timely information. He, by the help of a very fleet horse crossing several walls and fences, arrived at Concord at the time above mentioned, when several posts were immediately dispatched that, returning, confirmed the account of the regulars arrived at Lexington and that they were on their way to Concord. Upon this, a number of our minutemen belonging to the town, and Acton and Lincoln, with several others that were in readiness, marched out to meet them, while the alarm company was preparing to meet them in the town. Captain Minot, who commanded them, thought it proper to take possession of the hill above the meeting house as the most advantageous situation. We then retreated from the hill near Liberty Pole and took a new post back of the town upon a rising eminence, where we formed before we saw the British troops at the distance of a quarter mile, glittering in arms, advancing towards us with the greatest celerity. Some were for making a stand, notwithstanding the superiority of their numbers, but others, more prudent, thought it best to retreat till our strength should be equal to the enemy's, by recruits from neighboring towns that were continually coming to our assistance. Accordingly, we retreated over the bridge when the troops came into the town, set fire to several carriages for the artillery, destroyed 60 barrels of flour, rifled several houses, took possession of the townhouse, destroyed 500 pounds of ball, set a guard of 100 men at the North Bridge and South, and sent up a party to the house of Colonel Barrett, where they were in expectation of finding a quantity of warlike stores. But these were happily secured just before their arrival by transportation into the woods and other by-places. In the meantime, the guards set by the enemy to secure the passage at the North Bridge were alarmed by the approach of our people, who had retreated as before mentioned, and were now advancing with special orders not to fire on the troops unless fired upon. These orders were so punctually observed that we received the fire of the enemy in 3 several and separate discharges of their pieces before it was returned by our commanding officer. The firing then soon became general for several minutes, in which skirmish 2 were killed on either side and several of the enemy wounded. It may be here observed, by the way, that we were the more careful to prevent beginning a rupture with the King's troops, as we were then uncertain what had happened at Lexington, and knew not that they had begun the quarrel there by first firing upon our people and killing 8 men upon the spot. The troops soon quitted their post at the bridge and retreated in the greatest disorder and confusion to the main body, who were soon upon the march to meet them. For half an hour the enemy, by their marches and countermarches, discovered great fickleness and inconstancy of mind, sometimes advancing, sometimes returning to their former post, till at length they quitted the town and retreated by the way they came. In the meantime, a party of our men took the back way through the great fields into the east quarter, and had placed them to great advantage, laying an ambush behind walls, fences, and buildings to fire upon the enemy in their retreat.